and the feeling of being grateful. It literally sets the tone for your day. You know, it will allow your day to go in the direction that you desire for it to go in. So even if you prayed, and hopefully you all get up and pray every morning, you know, and before you go to sleep at night, and many times in between, because we should be a praying people. I talked about that on Friday. God told me to tell you all to pray. But even though you might pray, you should always, always, always get in the habit of counting your blessings. So today's topic, you ready for this, guys? Today's topic is sex. Yeah, let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. It reminds me of that old Salt and Pepper song. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. I was like, I would get on there and sing it. That remind me of Salt and Pepper, baby. Yes, we gonna get into it. We are talking about sex today. If you know that you are sensitive to a topic such as this, that you might be a little too dignified or holified to sit in and watch this crazy girl talk about sex on a rainy Wednesday morning. If you believe that this is something that you cannot handle for whatever reason where you may be in your life, then get off. Just it's no better way for you to say it. Do not tune into this message. It is a very important message. I took my time out and prepared this message about sex. I feel as though it is very, very necessary. I am not afraid to talk about sex. I know this may get some people's panties in a bunch, but I don't care. I don't care. I think we should talk about sex. You know, this is something that is a part of us, and it should be discussed. So, I mean, I gained so much insight just from preparing this message. Y'all should have seen me. I'm writing stuff down. Before I knew it, it looked like I had like 4 pages of notes. I tried to confine it to 2, always, just for the sake of your time and mine, and just get into the most important parts of the messages. I just try to stay focused on the main parts of the message. So, you know, I choose not to make them too extensive or too long. But I was like, oh my gosh, I ain't write this, I ain't write that. But I got to the point. I pretty much got to the point. I don't know why, but God laid it on my heart to talk about sex with us today. So, I mean, I don't want to feel like I'm no sex education teacher or anything like that. The majority of us here are adult people. So I know we got our feet wet a little bit with, you know, basically what sex is, the ins and outs of sex. But this message, I really hope that someone else gets as much out of this message as I did preparing it, because I really got so much out of this. So, sexual health is about how you see yourself as a sexual being, your ability to embrace and enjoy your sexuality, and your sense of truly owning your sexual actions and choices. So, boom. I mean, I said sexual health because I believe that's how we should see it. So this message was even going, and I was like, all right, God, you laid it on my heart to prepare a life lesson about sex. And I thought I was going to get on here and be like, you know, I see, you know, I have made so many mistakes with sex. I have learned and still learning, you know, from the mistakes that I have made in the past and all of that. And I see a lot of people still making bad decisions as far as sex is concerned, but like it was totally different going in. I was like, okay, so this is what it is. And sometimes I get into these messages and I begin to search the messages, And I'm like, all right, I want to retract and choose another topic because I try to, you know, sometimes I am proactive on things that I want to talk about, and sometimes God lays things on my heart, like at the very last minute. And I've been thinking about talking about sex for quite some time. Sometimes I am, I'm kind of hold offish on certain topics because I want to be sensitive to different people, but I have to stop myself from doing that because it may be somebody out here who needs this message in more ways than one. So my focus is to help, opposed to you don't know who gonna get mad if you jump on here and start talking about that. Like, so at this point I don't even care. You know, if you sensitive to something like this, then maybe that you need to think about why. Like, why are you sensitive to something that is so naturally a part of us? So basically, I just broke down exactly what sexual health is, and I never really even thought about it as sexual health. Sex is not necessarily a bad thing. Sex is a good thing. It's a really amazing thing when and proper use of sex. During this study, I came across a fact back in, I don't want to say medieval times, I forget what word they used for it, but way back in the day, when they discovered what sex is. I was like, I'm just so immature sometimes. They were saying that that when sex first started, it was just two people that kind of was like friction and up against each other, and realized the act of what they were doing, the pleasure and the purpose of it. And the main purpose of sex in the beginning was to procreate. So that was the only reason, when they realized that sex can be for reproducing and procreating. They literally just made the woman lie down and get pregnant, you know, and that was the sole purpose for sex. That was like the only purpose why two people would have sex when it was first discovered, was for reproduction and procreating, until, you know, we began to see the pleasures of it and explore it more and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that's basically what sex is owning our actions and our decisions, and, you know, being able to embrace yourself sexually, a sense of truly owning, you know, who you are in a sexual sense. So I am going to keep on. I know some of our experiences, you know, with sex may have us viewing sex in a certain way that may be unhealthy, you know, and hopefully, you know, by the end of this message, some of you may be able to change your perspective on sex and how you view it. So the more you are sexually active, your desire increases. The less you are sexually active, the less your desire increases. So I mean, like, okay, I'll use myself for an example. It has been quite some time since I have engaged in sexual activities. I have been abstinent from sex for almost 5 years. In some months, it will be 5 years. I will be celebrating sexual abstinence. And it is a decision that I do not regret. I do not masturbate and I do not have sex. And I was thinking about it and I was like, wow, I wasn't even 40 yet when I decided to stop having sex. I was still in my late 30s. My marriage was in a terrible place at the time. And I was like, oh, I just need a little buddy, you know, a little friend with benefits or whatever. And that didn't work out. One of my last experiences with sex was not so good. So I was like, all right, so you know what? let's just put it on a back burner for now. So I really didn't plan on going this long without sex, but I'm so glad that I did, because I needed this for myself. I needed to cleanse myself of the impurities, especially of the things that happened to me as a child and all of that kind of stuff. Get to learn how to love myself and become one with myself before I engage in another sexual act. I needed abstinence from sex more than I even realized. I thought I needed sex. I thought it was something that I needed, but it was something that I needed to restrain myself from, so I can truly know who I am and love who I am and embrace the true meaning of making love and having sex. So if and when I ever decide to engage in sexual activities again, because at this point, I'm 43 years old. That is not old. It is the prime of my life. I'm almost at the halfway mark. And if I do or if I don't, it really doesn't mean that much to me, because it's not taking any joy away from my life or happiness. Now, engaging in sex is pleasurable and it will add joy to my life, but I get to be whole and happy and complete without the acts of sex. It is not what I needed as much as I thought it was. If I can say it like that. But yeah, it's been a long time, for more than 4.5 years, almost 5 years of sex abstinence. It does decrease your desire to have sex, because I am not activating those chemical releases in my brain and all of the emotions and all that kind of stuff that your body goes through when you are having sex. I am not activating those parts of me. I do love. I cannot say that enough. I love movies, love stories, love music, and all of that kind of stuff. This couple in Walmart blessed me so much. Jumping out the car, making a Walmart run, on the phone with my sister, and one of the Walmart employees was getting in her car, and her boo walked up with a bouquet of flowers and just started kissing her, guys. Like, I was like, oh, that was so sweet and beautiful to me. And I am just grateful when God allows my eyes to be blessed with such beauty. Like, I'm not a hater. I love. So I don't deny myself, the true meaning of, the emotions of love. And I know if and when I decide to engage in sexual activities again, it is going to be everything I always hoped and wanted for it to be. Because if it don't meet them standards, or has the potential to meet those standards, or I don't think it's going to even come close to what I want it to be, I'm just not going to do it at all, because I know what my experiences have been in the past, and I would rather not have it than continue having it with the wrong people, or continue having not good experiences with people that I shouldn't have laid down and had sex with in the first place. So that's period, point blank. Listen, we talk about sex today, baby. We are talking about sex. You might as well, listen, get your pen, get your paper, sexual education. I don't care. I know we are all adults here. You probably had sex ed in school, or your parents probably talked to you about sex or whatever, but even as adults, we have a misconception of what we believe sex to be, probably from our own experiences and our own decisions and our own preferences, or whatever your perception may be about sex. And I want us to all to be able to look at sex in a healthy way moving forward. So that is the purpose of this message on sex today. Let's get into it, y'all. So sex and sexuality is a part of life. Sex is about intimacy, closeness, companionship. That's what sex should be about. And Okay, I'm not going to get all up in your business today. But oftentimes we are out here having sex and it don't have nothing to do with intimacy, closeness, companionship, or any of that. We just out here having sex. We out here bumping and grinding, knocking boots, or whatever you want to call it. And sometimes, a lot of times, oftentimes, it's casual sex. Casual sex has become too normalized, like too much of a normal thing nowadays. We just out here doing the new, baby. Like, whoo! Like, sometimes we don't know who the baby daddy is. I am so grateful that through all my struggles and trials and everything that I've been through in life, I ain't never had no issues with who the baby daddy was. So I don't care what nobody got to say about me, but I don't think that's a good thing. And I don't want to be offensive to anybody in their situation because I don't know where anybody is mentally. But if you are pregnant or have been impregnated and don't know who you are pregnant for, then you have issues that need to be resolved, because unsafe sex is just not something that we should be going around doing. We should all, practice safe sex at all times, just for the protection of your own health and your own body. And if you are having sex to the point that you don't know who you're pregnant for, then you need to think about, well, do I really love myself, or do I have, is something going on with me mentally? Why did I make that decision? I am not judging you just because I never had those issues, but all I'm saying is, if that has been or is a issue with you, then, and I'm talking to the females because we are the ones that get pregnant. If you having issues with knowing who you're pregnant for, then you need to consider what may be going on with you mentally, because it's not healthy to have multiple sex partners unprotected. There may be some self-esteem issues with you, or there may be a serious reason behind why you make the choices to do that, especially to the point the way you don't know who your baby daddy is. So I'm just saying, no judgment zone. I'm just saying, think about where you are mentally that it got you in that situation. So, sexuality is a part of life. I already read that. It's about closeness, intimacy, and should demonstrate faithfulness. So sex should demonstrate faithfulness. We should not be going around having multiple sex partners. Even if you are not in a platonic relationship or in a marriage or whatever, it should be maybe just one person that you having sex with. This goes for males and females. I don't believe that it is never a good thing to go around having multiple sex partners at one time. I know we get on the men for being that way, because men don't get caught up in their emotions as much as females do. But I believe we should all take caution and moving forward with who we are having sex with and the amount of people that we are having sex with. So sex is for pleasure. The misuse of sex can have damaging effects. Sexual abuse, rape, and molestation are examples of the misuse of sex. I'm going to say that again. Sex can be misused. Sex can be misused in many ways, and in all forms of the misuse of sex is acceptable on every level. It is unacceptable by law. Morally, you don't want nobody doing that to you or anybody in your family. Has damaging effects, and I do want to talk a little bit about sexual molestation. Sexual abuse, rape, and molestation are examples of the misuse of sex. So from a child, sexual molestation is known to cause serious harm to victims, lifelong mental and emotional and emotional health that can create that can create a domino effect. Health effects, I think I meant to put another word in there. Health that can affect the victim's relationships, physical health, educational success, earning ability, and quality of life. So I don't think that when people, because sexual molestation and rape can come from males and females, both. And I don't think either they don't know or they don't care the damaging effects that rape and sexual molestation can have on a person. Coming from a personal point of view, I am a survivor of childhood molestation. And when I did this study, and it said, and I read that it can have an effect on educational success, earning ability, and all around quality of life, I was cursing inside of my head. And I am a person who tried to not make a habit out of saying curse words. Even in my head, I'm like, God forgive me. I used to be a cussing somebody. I curse more than a sailor. But I choose not to say curse words because I believe it is unattractive coming from a woman's mouth to talk like that. And we want to be attractive to ourselves. We don't want to displease God with our language, and we want our conversations with other people to be enjoyable. And sometimes when people are steady throwing curse words when they talking to me, I feel like they shooting me with darts. I be like, dang, like, please stop cursing. You cursing like a lot now. Like, not saying that, I know people are going to curse, but anyway, it just made me so mad just thinking about it. And I choose to forgive the person and people that allow sexual molestation to happen to me. I choose to forgive because I want to move on with my life. But had I known that this was the reality of it, I never opened my eyes, and I knew that it affected my life in a devastating way, and I had to grow, forward, and I probably had to work a little more harder than people who did not experience that type of trauma, especially as a child. But when I read that it affects your educational success, earning ability, my health, my relationship status, physical health, like it could just be very damaging in so many ways. So for some people who may not be able to control themselves in the aspect of looking at children in a sexual way, think about for a moment how this can have a devastating effect on that child's future, whether it be your family or not your family. In my case, it was a direct family member of mine that sexually molested me as a child. And I say to myself, I believe that it hurts worse because of who the person was and who allowed it to happen to me. I believe that it just ignited a flame of self-destruction in me that took many, many years for me to recover from. And I'm sorry that it happened to me, but I choose not to be a victim today. I choose to walk in victory. And I'm grateful to be able to say I overcame that part of me, so I can't soak in feeling sorry for myself because it was something that was totally beyond my control. It happened to me very young as a child. I should have been taken out of the home immediately. I believe that was very drastic, and drastic measures have been taken. I never had the courage to tell my father. Even to his dying day, he never knew that was something that happened to me, and I believe that I was coerced to say that don't let this go outside of this house, because a lot of people never knew that was happening to me. What happens in the house stay in the house. Don't go outside talking about our business or what happens in this house, or I'm gonna beat you if you tell anybody, or whatever. But I honestly believe, I don't remember, because I was so young, exactly what was said, for me to stay so tight-lipped about such a serious situation. I wish I had the courage to say something, but I had to be coerced to not say anything. It took me years. I was well into adulthood before I started getting counseling about what happened to me as a child. And even by me talking about it, it was like I regurgitated so much unhealthiness that was deteriorating my life. Just me getting it off of my chest was such a release. By me being told to shut up about it for so long, I thought that I was going to have to shut up about it forever. And I believe that was the beginning of healing for me to talk about what happened to me as a child. That is really seriously, truthfully, when I tried to clean myself up from drugs and alcohol. When I realized that what happened to me wasn't my fault, and my life should not have a damaging and devastating effect to myself and to my children over something that happened to me that was completely beyond anything that I could possibly control. It was nothing that I could do about that. I can't, pack up and leave, at 5 years old and take care of myself or whatever, and when you got adult people telling you to shut up and don't say nothing, people who you thought will protect you and love you are having this damaging effect on you and your life. I just believe that it wasn't taken serious at all, that it was drastic, and drastic measures should have been taken to spare me of having not so many difficulties in life that I had to struggle with. So sexual molestation and rape is never okay, even if it is not a child. Even if it's an adult forcing another adult to have sex or whatever, no means no, and that comes from both ways. But that is the misuse of sex, and in any form, it is unacceptable. Sexual misuse is unacceptable. So if you are in a situation or have been in a situation where you have been forced to have sex, 9 times out of 10 it has damaged you mentally, and you probably should go talk to somebody about that so you can grow and healing, because we all need that healing. So yeah, we are talking about sex today. So where was I? Kind of got lost in that, but I'm so glad that that I got that off of my chest. So healthy sex is said to ease pain, eliminate stress, and lower blood pressure. So studies show that sex is extremely beneficial to our health. So I did not know that. I know it is an act of cardio, should I say, as a person who works out a lot. So when you think about it, bumping and grinding, I guess you are using different muscles and you are working up sweat. So activating muscles and working up sweat, of course, is good for your health. So that's, I'm not making this stuff up. So masturbation. Let's talk about masturbation, guys. Like, we can't talk about sex without talking about masturbation. Like I said, from a personal perspective, I'm not going to say I never masturbated before, but it is something that I truly have grown out of over the years. So I do not masturbate under any circumstances. I just don't, I just wash it and that's it. So, and wipe it when I go to the bathroom. That's it. But masturbation, having sex alone through masturbation, won't have mood boosting benefits like being with someone or or nor will it help decrease depression and increase self-esteem, like being with a partner will. So I did come across that in my study, and being in a healthy relationship decreases depression and it increases self-esteem. So these are the great qualities about healthy sex. So Islam seems the religion Islam, I don't think Islam is a religion, or I don't know how it goes, but Islam sees masturbation as a sin and Christianity does not. So I just wrote that down because different religions view masturbation as sinful, and I didn't look into other religions. I just came across that. I don't even know why it popped up during this study, but I found it to be interesting. So, or if you are a person of Islam, any branch of Islam, and you like to engage in masturbation, just know that during this study, I came across the fact that it is a sin to your religion, engaging in masturbation as a person of Islam. So, and in Christianity, it does not say. I did come across a scripture, I believe in Matthew's, that lusting in the heart is more sinful than masturbation. So it doesn't say that masturbation is sinful per se in Christianity or in the Word of God in the Bible, but it does say to lust in the heart or in the mind. I forget exactly how the scripture read. I know it said it was in Matthew, but it said that is more sinful in nature than the actual act of masturbation. So sex is a normal part of human nature, but uncontrolled sexual desires can put you in a situation you never wanted to be in. Sexual desire should be controlled at all times. So you should be, if you don't have control over your sexual desire, you may need to seek help. You may be on a road to self-destruction. I have seen sexual desire lead some people to a very devastating role in life that was detrimental to their overall quality of life, even to death. I have saw people that were totally consumed with the desire of sex and being focused on sexual desire till it just became unhealthy to the point where they are no longer alive. So I'm just telling you, I mean, I know people personally that are not here on this earth anymore who had uncontrolled sexual desires. You take that as you want. I am not trying to scare you. I am just giving you it from a personal perspective, what I have seen with my own eyes and from what studies show. So I literally came across the fact that sexual desire is to be controlled at all times. So and if you're not controlling it, it can cause dysfunction in your relationships and mental health issues. So that is just the reality of it. So doing things like regular exercise can combat sexual energy. I came across someone that I follow on my timeline. I forget exactly what his name is. I think it's Donnell something. I know his family came from the same neighborhood that my family came from. He is a very successful, I believe he's the CEO of Jumpin' Jack Tax. And he educate men a lot. He talked to the men. He has a beautiful wife, but he just came off a 33-day challenge where he exercised for 33 days. Had not had sex at all. His wife is knocked out. Gorgeous brick house. So he had to restrain from having sex with his gorgeous wife for 33 days. And it was different things that he had on his list. I think one of them was like drinking plenty of water. I know one was exercise, and all of that. And one was he couldn't have sex. And I heard him talk about, especially for people, he's very successful, jumping jack tags. I am so proud of the success. I'm so happy when I see people, grow in success that way, especially people that come from the same background that I come from. But he talked about the sexual energy that we get. We can put that energy into something else. We could put that sexual energy somewhere else. So maybe he's trying to grow himself in different areas of his life where he had found sex to be restraining from sex to be beneficial in different areas of our life. I don't think we realize the sexual energy that we waste, because we could be using that energy in a more beneficial way. Healthy sex can be good for us in a way. It can make us happy. It is pleasurable and all of that. But sometimes we may not be in a good place in life. Sometimes we may need to use our creativity. Sometimes we need to focus on our health, or focus on entrepreneurship, or focus on our careers, or focus on obtaining peace and being happy and all of that kind of stuff. And sometimes we can mask our pain with the act of sex. We could be misusing sex in multiple different ways. So so that is one way we can combat sexual energy. I'm glad that he added that to his challenge, working out for 33 days. I guess he knew that he wanted to restrain from sex for 33 days, but I'm glad that he added working out, because he can release that sexual tension and that sexual energy and focus it on something and release it in a different way. And that made me think about myself, because I'm a monster in the gym sometimes. Like just yesterday, I was pressing 308 pounds on a leg press, and I feel myself getting stronger and increasing my reps and increasing the amount of weights that I press on every different part of my body. I'm challenging my abs, I'm challenging my biceps, triceps, legs, and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, maybe that's why I was able to get so far in my journey, because this is a dream to me. I dreamed of being healthy and in shape and fit as I am now, and I'm not even where I want to be yet. I still have work to do, but I dreamed of this body and this amount of strength and this amount of health and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, it's probably such a good thing that I'm not having sex right now, because I'm releasing that energy when I go in the gym. So, you can focus it and put it somewhere else that can be very beneficial to your life. So women are more attracted to men that care about their personal appearance, their health, their career, and it also makes us respect them. So sometimes men can jump in our inbox and say something about, whatever, our body parts or whatever, and you might think that you're going to get a positive response off of you saying you smell good or you look good, and I'm like, thanks, or whatever. But if you are clearly a person who does not prioritize your appearance, your health, your career, your goals, your lifestyles, that is really what women respect and is sexually attracted to. That arouses us sexually when we see a man that cares about the way that he smells, about the way that he grooms himself, about the way that he looks, that has on clean socks, who looks healthy, who looks like you care about your health in some kind of way. I'm not body shaming or anything like that, but sometimes you can clearly look at someone in their face and tell that their organs are struggling, or you just make unhealthy food choices or whatever. Like, you just don't care at this point. You eat whatever you want whenever you want and all of that kind of stuff, and that stuff shows and it is not very attractive to women. So if you are a man that desires to feel the attraction from a woman of great value, or just a woman period, you desire the companionship or the sexual nature or whatever, you gonna have to start working on yourself, buddy. And I say this all the time: when you work on yourself, that's when you attract the things that you want in life. Me working on myself in different areas of my life have benefited me in so many different areas. It even changed the type of men that are attracted to me. And I'm like, wow. At one point, it was like all CEOs and business owners. And I was like, why is it always the owner of the business that wants to talk to me, or, whatever? But even the quality of men that are attracted to me have leveled up since I have worked on myself even more. So you got to work on yourself if you desire companionship, sexual companionship, or whatever. Like, nobody's going to want to have sex with you if you are like all willy-nilly with your life. You got to have something that is going to attract us. That is what is attractive in us. So porn. Yep. Let's talk about porn. We talk about sex today. I don't think I skipped anything with this. There's a few things that didn't make the cut, only because I wanted to keep the lesson at a minimum, which it is still a nice amount of notes that I gathered here on sex. But yeah, let's talk about porn. So I'm gonna go ahead and just read what I wrote down, and then I will give you my personal philosophy of how I feel about it. So porn. The consumption of porn has been shown to have an impact on sexual risk-taking, including less frequent usage of condoms and birth control, as well as more casual sexual encounters. So porn can also negatively impact sexual functioning in men. So this is, I didn't just make this up, guys. Like, I did a study on this. So people who are in the habit of enjoying porn, and you are not in a relationship, people who married enjoy porn often. So it didn't really, I'm not here to judge y'all, but it didn't really say too many positive things about watching porn. Like, I just really didn't see too many positive things. You don't want to be out here. I said that earlier. It has an impact on risk taking. Like, you will be so worked up off of porn that you might just go head out here and jump in anybody's draws. Then you mess around and get somebody pregnant that you don't want pregnant, and then you need to stay out of that porn. You're not using condoms. You are having more casual sex. These are not really two good things. So I know I touched on the importance, which we all know, the importance of practicing safe sex, but you don't want to be a sexual risk taker. That is not something that you want to really play around with. We do make mistakes. We do make the wrong decisions for whatever reason as far as sex is concerned. But before turning on that porn, I want y'all to know the damaging effects it can have on your life. And it impacts men's sexual function. So if you want your weenie to function, longer, if you want to give more life to it for a longer amount of time, stop watching so much porn and whacking off the weenie if you want to keep it alive a little bit longer, because we ain't getting no younger. So, that I just came across that. So it has a major impact on the functioning of men private areas when they overindulge in porn and they are waxing off the monkey and watching a lot of porn. You might want to minimize it. I don't know, bring it down a little bit, but if you care about the functioning of your Mr. Man, you may want to not indulge in too much porn so you can use it for other pleasurable reasons. So I came across this fact about porn. Porn makes more money than the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball combined. NFL, NBA, those are some money making industries. Major League Baseball, it's a lot of money that go into these corporations. How is porn? Now, y'all out here watching some serious porn. Never been the type of person that watch porn. Not saying that I have never watched it ever before in my life. Just never was a thing of mine. Y'all out here watching some porn. So, I don't know, on average for porn to be making this much money, y'all out here watching some porn. That fact was so astounding. I could not believe it. But anyway, wow. I just don't even really know what to say to that. It's some serious porn watching or whatever, how you spend your money on whatever form of porn. I don't know, that might be going to strip clubs or as well as, buying sexual toys or whatever. But I did not know that so much money was going into the porn industry. But I came across something that was very disturbing during this study, and it was called farts in a jar. I was watching a YouTube video and I seen someone comment as farts in a jar. I don't know, it may not be new to y'all, but I never heard of farts in a jar until I did this study. And people are really out here farting in a jar and selling their farts in a jar. Farts in a jar is making millions of dollars. And I guess basically the people, I'm not going to laugh because it's very disturbing. I am very immature. You could say fart and I'm crying, laughing. I just laugh at dumb stuff all the time. That's just me. And I started to laugh because I'm like, farts in a jar. And then when I looked it up, lonely people are so lonely and desperate for companionship that they are paying millions of dollars for a I'm sorry. Listen, okay, I'm going to try to restrain myself from laughing. People are really buying farts in a jar. I was like, wow. I thought it was just something that somebody was saying or, whatever. I read it in one of the comments while I was looking at a YouTube video and I was like, this looks like it's a thing. And it is. So I don't know if that's a form of porn that people are spending money on as well. I don't know how people get off on farts in a jar. I believe, I don't know. When I think about it, the only thing that can really make sense to me is people that may have been alone for so long and desire companionship. I mean, we get up in the morning and we fart or whatever, and your partner is there. You probably know exactly what each other's fart smell like, but some people have not smelled the fart, I guess, of another person in so long. I guess it gives them the feeling of someone else being there. I don't know. This was sick to me. This was very, very, very disturbing. I know that loneliness is a thing, and I am not saying that people don't get lonely or whatever, but I don't even know what to say about that. Like, we gotta get some help. Like, that is very mental to me. Like, I don't know. I would rather spend time with God, and I just don't know. I never ever, I cannot say what I would never do. I don't know where people are in life that they will spend hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars for farts in a jar. Like, where are you mentally that you are buying farts in a jar? So I think that's like a form of porn that they are talking about, where all this money is going to in porn was farts in a jar. I didn't even take notes on it, but I just said I would mention it. Maybe something y'all know that I don't know. This is the very first time I ever heard of farts in a jar, but it was very disturbing to me. So anyway, y'all got to come back off of that porn before y'all turn around and be buying farts in a jar. Listen, they gonna suck y'all in. It's a problem. Like, it is seriously a problem out here. So unhealthy sex is self-destructive and dangerous. Always pay attention to your body and don't have sex if you really don't want to. So I know I did write this down. And the only way that I would probably have sex if I didn't want to in a healthy way is if I am in a loving marriage, because I know the closeness and companionship that a healthy sex life brings. So I might be too tired or had a long day, or you might be in the mood for sex and I might not be in the mood for sex. But I would say that's the only way that having sex, if you really don't want to, should be somewhat acceptable, is if you are in a healthy relationship and you want to stay in close companionship and have a healthy relationship with your partner. So doing things like novelty things for people who are in a healthy relationship, going for long walks and just doing romantic things together can increase companionship and encourage healthy sex lives and all of that kind of stuff. I am not discouraging you to have sex just because I am not sexually active. I just really want you all to be encouraged to have sex in a healthy way. It has probably been a whole lot of unhealthy sex going on for a very long time. And I think that if we change our perspective on how we view our sexuality, our own bodies, and engaging in having sex, then it would be a much more pleasurable and happy and healthy and fulfilling experience for us. I believe that if and when I ever do decide to engage in sexual activities again, it is going to be something that it probably, I'm not even going to say that it probably always should have been, but it's going to be everything that I could have ever always asked for, hoped for, and imagined. And that is just what I am speaking over myself. So if you are in a relationship or engaging in sexual activity in any kind of way, whether it be a boyfriend and girlfriend, fiance, husband and wife, or whatever, and it is not what you truly desire in sex, in having a sexual partner, then you need to reconsider how you view sex and who you are having sex with. Like, don't just do it just to be doing it. You should really be able to get something out of it. It should be stimulating for you, not only physically, but mentally. You should be able to leave away with from that experience with something that is beneficial for you in some kind of way. Sex and engaging in sexual pleasure should always be a good thing. It's just something that should be good. You know, even when they talked about when sex first began, they said they would just make the woman lie down and be made have sex too. Like somebody's coming to have sex with you so you can get pregnant. So ultimately it probably wasn't as, well, in the beginning it probably wasn't as enjoyable for the female that it was for the male. But listen, we done learn how to get into it and, do it in all kind of ways and make it pleasurable for ourselves and all that kind of stuff. So it should go both ways. It really should. It should not be one-sided at all. So I wrote down a few quotes and I did write down a few sex affirmations, and I am out of you guys' way. So everything in the world is about sex except sex. Sex is about power. And that quote came from a man named Oscar Wilde. He was an Irish poet and playwright. He's very famous back in the 1800s. So this is what Oscar Wilde, with the E at the end, he said, everything in the world is about sex except for sex. Sex is about power. So I think that we could be using sex for power on a more normalized level way too often nowadays. This is where all the BBLs are coming in at, and females are dying trying to get their bodies in, instead of doing it in the healthy way, going to the gym, working out, we getting all these kind of plastic surgeries that are literally taking them clean out of here, because sexualization is being so it is just on a level, like if I have control over your mind in the sexual aspect, I have power over you. So it was very interesting. This quote was very interesting to me. Like, sex should be about sex. And I think it has got increasingly worse over the years, even since this quote was written back in the 1800s. So everything in the world shouldn't be about sex. And that's probably why the porn industry is making so much money and they selling farts in a jar, because everything is so sexualized nowadays to the point where it is just normal. Out of all the things that we could be doing with our finances, why is so much money going into porn? I don't get it. Anyway, I wrote another quote that is, I don't know who wrote this. I tried to look up who wrote this quote. So the writer of this quote is unknown, but I do love this quote. It say, love like crazy and make love like there's no tomorrow. So I love that. Number one, I love love, and make love like there's no tomorrow. Listen, it's hump day. Y'all go ahead and hump it out. Go ahead. I am not discouraging anyone from having healthy sex. Make love like it is no tomorrow. Just do it in a good and healthy way. Think about it. So my sex affirmations are: I am grateful for my body and the sexual pleasure it provides me. So I want you to speak that over yourself. Always, my affirmations is about affirming positivity over yourself. I can speak goodness into you all day long, but if you don't affirm goodness within yourself, it is not going to carry much weight at all. So I am grateful for my body and the sexual pleasure it provides me. Be grateful for your body and embrace the sexual pleasure that it provides you. It's one of the pleasures of life. So my second sex affirmation is: my bed is a peaceful sanctuary where I feel safe and satisfied. I'm going to read that again. My bed is a peaceful sanctuary where I feel safe and satisfied. And I love that affirmation. We need to affirm that over yourself, whether you are engaged in sexual activity or not. When you get into your bed, it should be a peaceful sanctuary where you feel safe and satisfied always. So see your bed as your peaceful sanctuary. So that is it, you guys. I was like on the edge of my seat preparing that message. I felt as though it was very, very necessary. I believe God laid it on my heart to relay the message on sex today. I am going to end it with that because I had to move on with my day. Good morning. Happy hump day. God bless you and thank you all so much for tuning into this message. Like it, share it, comment it. Your feedback is always accepted, no matter, what it is. Positive criticism or constructive criticism or whatever. I accept your feedback. But thank you guys so much and good morning. I appreciate all your love and support. And don't forget to tune into my YouTube channel. I am so excited. I am like so close to having 500 subscribers on YouTube. I believe at this point I am like 20 subscribers away from hitting the 500 mark of subscribers, which is a major breakthrough in the YouTuber life, when you reach that 500 mark. So I am so excited about what God is doing for my life, and my hope that is with these messages being spreaded worldwide, that it is having an impact on people all across the world. And I am so grateful that I am able to spread my messages all over the world. I looked at the different countries of people that view my messages, and it really blesses my heart where I see different parts of the world over the seas and different countries that tune into my YouTube videos. So I am so grateful for that. My YouTube channel is True Value Knowing Your Worth on YouTube. If you have not yet, like, share, and subscribe. It is so much going on my YouTube channel. A lot of different things that may not be happening on my social media that is happening on my YouTube channel. That is True Value Knowing Your Worth on YouTube. My book, my first book, all 4 of my books are available and on sale on Amazon. My first book is True Value Knowing Your Worth. My second book is Walking Treasure, Discover Your Hidden Treasures. My third book is Feed Your Soul, Your Personal Guide to Health and Wellness. And my fourth book is Religiously, and that is Your Personal Guide to Health and Wellness. And I am very proud. Religiously, a closer look at spirituality and religion. Excuse me, guys. But I am so proud to announce that I have started my 5th book, which is called Misunderstood, which I am so excited about. Just jumping into this book, Misunderstood, and it is the unspoken truth, is the spoken truth of the unspoken. So a lot of us can be very misunderstood, and I am going to speak for those of us who have not yet got the opportunity to speak for themselves, because sometimes a little bit of understanding can go a very long way. So you guys look out for Misunderstood. That project is currently underway, and I am so excited about Misunderstood. But God bless you guys. I love you once again. Good morning. Happy hump day. You guys go out here and enjoy the rain. Embrace the rain. Every drop of rain that falls upon you is another blessing. I speak that over your life. So let the rain fall on you. That is a gospel, Melodies from Heaven, rain down on me. Let the rain fall on you today. Let a couple drops hit your skin and count it as another blessing. We're going to change the way that we look at the rain. It raining outside does not always have to be a terrible thing. Embrace the sunshine. Embrace the rain. I am grateful for the fact that God is cleansing his earth. Despite the fact that I have to go out here in the rain, I still count myself as being blessed. So I love you guys. Until next time, Lord willing, I will be back here on Friday with just some motivation, something to help jumpstart you guys Friday. In the meantime, thank you. I love you, and continue to stay blessed.